Hello, welcome back. I told you I was going to shave my head. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. And I left you with Superman, and that was a fun ride. I watched it a couple more times since then, and every time it just gets better and better. And I felt like that was a very hopeful movie. And I'm back to talk to you about Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie.
It's 1 p.m. It's time for lunch. Remember to wash your hands.
Thank you. One Battle After Another, which came out this weekend. I had a great time with it, but I also had a very terrifying time with it. And I kind of also wanted to talk about PTA's movies in general, like my experience with all of his movies. So before we get into that, I just want to give a quick review that One Battle After Another is definitely worth seeing. It's definitely worth seeing in as big a cinema as you can see. But I wouldn't recommend everybody see it because there's a lot of intense moments, there's a lot of intense scenes, and I think some of it can be very shocking and can stick with you. It stuck with me for several days. I watched it 3 days ago and I'm still thinking about it now. And I'm a little bit paranoid. Kind of feel a little like Bob at times. But I would give it a 4 out of 5. I think I might elevate it to 5 out of 5 later down the road, but for now I want to give it a 4 out of 5. I know everybody's praising it as a masterpiece. I think it's absolutely brilliant cinema. I just have a hard time with I'm just having a hard time with it, to be honest. I don't really I want to get into the spoilers, so we're just going to get into the spoilers right now. Yeah, I was very freaked out. I was freaked out by it. I recorded something. I came home immediately, wrote down all my thoughts, and I recorded myself saying it. I'll play that now. Hello everybody. I just got out of the film One Battle After Another, and I wanted to read some of my quick thoughts. One Battle After Another. It scared me. Horror movies I find funny. This one I felt was terrifying. Everyone that Lockjaw came across was broken. The style of the antagonist was not lost on me. No more Nazi uniforms. These soldiers are littered with American iconography. Big tactical gear. Measured and calm. Soulless. Tattoos. Big beards. These are the Gestapo of today, and this is what they look like. They have endless tools and cheeky names for them. This movie was not about anyone other than Stephen J. Lockjaw. He was Hans Landa. He was Agent Smith. He was a small man, but the whole world revolved around him. And in their personal lives, there is no SS uniform. There's the Patagonias, Brooks Brothers, and Ford F-150s of suburbia. The more exclusive the club, the more regular and buffoonish it feels as an outsider. By the end, Lockjaw is brought to tears by the acceptance into their superiority group. And that comes with the corner office of middle management. He's horribly disfigured by this point, looking as grotesque on the outside as he's always been. It's hard to even look at him. But PTA puts him center frame, close up. We cannot look away. And a death fitting for a Coen brothers character. Bob and Willa. What is there to say? By the end, we've seen that Willa has the gumption of her mother. They're on the same river, unable to deviate from its flow. Bob, unable to produce a future or a purpose of his own. He's coasting off the first flight out of the coop. What does this movie say about revolution? Does it say anything at all? I'm on the fence, as I am with all of PTA's films on the first watch, lost in a bizarre fog of scenes and meanings. But on rewatches, the picture comes into focus. Revolutions can be big or small, loud or quiet. Benicio del Toro's character is the biggest revolutionary in this film. He's had an entire city trained for this moment, helping young families quietly under the nose of the government. Mrs. Beverly Hills' revolution was attention-grabbing and bombastic, but it also drew the spotlight to where the FBI agents were taking selfies. Sensei would never make the front page. Families are thrown out of their homes every day, and it's important to those who are in power that it remains off the front page. These are the small battles that happen every day to survive and to build towards a better life. There's a lot of racialized elements to this film that can feel farcical at times, and incredibly honest and brutal in other times. There is a danger to everyone who comes across the United States military in this film. That's true historically as well. Whoever commands the US military can do what they want globally. Men like Lockjaw pillaged South America, threw us into wars in the Middle East, and instability across Africa. Men like him hate everyone, not all at once, but little by little. Minorities because they're different, then the poor for not being rich, then the gay because they don't understand, then the women because they're meant to be subservient, then the professors for looking down on them, single mothers, addicts, childless marriage, and so on and so on. Lockjaw is presented as both a buffoon and venomous in the way that sticks with you through the anxiety-producing score. Piano keys pitter-patter as Bob makes his escapes. The pitter-patter is how this movie moved, hop-skipping and jumping to a hollow victory. All Bob's friends are dead, and his daughter is destined for the same fate. It's just now that Lockjaw's dead, and he has peace. Yeah, so that's how I felt. That's how I still feel. It was a terrifying movie. You know, the villain was absolutely both farcical and venomous. Like, it didn't matter how funny he was portrayed and how robotic he was. He absolutely dominated the entire cast of characters. I think that the reason I want to rewatch it again is because I need to know where we're going. A lot of what stuck with me more was the empathetic portrayal of both Benicio del Toro's character Sensei and the community he's helping to protect because of how dangerous it is in that world. I'll just say this, all of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies confused me at the beginning on first watch. I think I said that in the recording. Phantom Thread, There Will Be Blood, Boogie Nights, The Master, especially The Master. I watched them and I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? What am I watching? Do I have to watch it again? Does any of this make sense? Weeks will go by, I'll think about it again, I'll put it on again, because like the other thing about Paul Thomas Anderson movies is they may be the most visually stunning landscapes and personal character portraits you will ever see put to cinema. The dude is so good at capturing a moment. He's so good at capturing light and framing it around beautiful people and even ugly people. The way he frames Lockjaw is so impressive because he's such a small man. And in the way he composes him, it is the strength of a small man. So that is super impressive. And so that eventually gets in my head and I want to revisit these movies. And when I do, like I said in the recording, it comes more into focus. I begin to understand Adam Sandler's character in Punch Drunk Love. I begin to understand a little bit more of what's happening in Licorice Pizza because his movies are very dense and they can be very atmospheric and they can be very thematic in ways that don't hit you over the head like maybe a movie like Superman, where he explicitly says it at the end. This movie is about being a good person, which I loved. You know, y'all know I love Superman. The other thing I struggle with is like frenetic films that are constantly moving, constantly going, films that have like an anxiety producing franticness. I struggle with that because when I'm in these cinemas, I feel that same thing and that anxiety begins to bubble in me. And especially around this real world thing, it was kind of overwhelming. I was very overwhelmed by it. All the Safdie brothers movies, Uncut Gems, Good Time, like all of them, I've only really watched once. I appreciate them, but I also am overfried by them. They are so frenetic and there's so much happening and so much overlapping that it really is hard for me to sort of like take in as an enjoyable experience. I need just a little bit of slower. That's too fast. I need a little bit of slower. And PTA with this film, I think, has hit a really good balance. But when it hypes up, it was really overcooked me. Another thing, this movie reminded me so much of the film Place Beyond the Pines, which also sort of follows an sort of absentee parent and the legacy that they leave. I thought Place Beyond the Pines was a really awesome film, a lot of flaws. I think that One Battle After Another is much more of a sophisticated version of that, and the execution of it is innovative and impressive and ambitious. And it was really interesting to see Paul Thomas Anderson do something that's contemporary, that's in the now. Even though it takes place in maybe 10 years ago, we still live in a world of cell phones. We still live in a world of hyper internet. It's a really good vision of the response of a world that hardens after activism, vigilantism. Despite maybe being thought as a good thing, the world and the people in power react out of fear and out of strength, and that begins to tighten the noose on everybody. Everybody is crunched in the years after Perfidia. Perfidia Beverly Hills, Miss Beverly Hills, in the world that she has left behind, and for her daughter. Yeah, I thought all the performances are great. Leo was really great as a comedic kind of bumbling fool. Tiana Taylor was awesome. She was so electrifying in the first half, and so she cast a long shadow the entirety of the film. And when she was gone, and she left in such an interesting way. Sean Penn was so terrifying that it scares me still. Chase Infinity was awesome. Regina Hall was awesome. My favorite performance was Benicio del Toro. My favorite character was Sensei. He's my favorite performance. He is a very needed, calming influence throughout the entirety of the movie. Everything he does is just so relaxed. He's both throwing fastballs, but in a way that is relaxing. The Modelos, when he gets arrested, it's just it feels like a triumph that when he got arrested and he's making himself a bigger target, so that they don't go looking for Bob. He calmly gets everybody in line. It was an amazing performance. I really connected with him the most, and just like the the PTA just zooming in on his face when they're like, "I've had a few beers." I love Benicio del Toro. I mean, I really enjoy whenever PTA finds these performances and these really great actors, and when the actors bring it to the screen. I will also say that as terrifying as it, and as lasting as the terrifying moments left for me, there is so much humor in this. I just didn't appreciate it. I think the first watch I had a hard time with was how terrifying it is, and I think as we get further down the line, I will find more of the humor of Lockjaw and of Sensei and of Bob and of Chase. But there's so many impressive moments that were really hard to just sort of laugh through. That's my review. I would say if you are big into PTA movies, if you like a lot of action, if you like a lot of chaotic cinema, this would be very, very good to see on the biggest screen possible. If you want a little bit of distance from this, I think maybe if you haven't seen this yet, confide in a friend that you trust who maybe has seen it to just be like, what do you think? I feel strange that I'm so sort of like off the fence on it. Like, I'm going to watch this again in theaters, but I had to have a hard time being like, you should go see it if it's like one of my like homegirls, because I just don't want to be like a dude about it, of being like, oh, you know what would be tight? The Matrix, go, and then The Dark Knight, that would be sick. And then after that, The Godfather. Like, you know that scene from Barbie where everyone's like sitting around playing I'm the Godfather? Like, I don't want to be that person and recommend that. So I don't think it's for everybody. But if you love PTA, I think you'll really appreciate what he's doing. I love PTA. I appreciate what he's doing. So those are my thoughts. Outro here. I'm making a new short film. Hopefully casting the lead soon. We've recorded 2 episodes of the new Through It. I'm in the editing process right now. If you don't know what Through It is, it's an interview show. It's an interview series where we sit down and talk to artists, and inside about their art, outside about their hobbies. It's hosted by Brad Wette, who co-created it with me and Joao. He's kind of the big brainchild of it all. He's the one who's leading it. Very great work, very great journalist, has a long list of great interviews and great things he's done. I'm very proud to work on it. We've already done a few episodes. Go check them out. We've got 2 more in the can. And I'm editing a feature film. I don't know how much I could say about it, so I won't. But I'm very excited about it, and I can't wait to share more of this like cinematic journey. If you don't know, I've been doing this, trying to make a feature film series for a while. It turns out that if you keep plugging away at something and you keep working on it, you begin to make inroads. And so, as a follow-up to that, a quick little follow-up, I'll say just keep doing what you're doing. If you're creative, your career is not about the one big opportunity. It is the little pieces of sand that when you look back of all the things you've done, you have made this mountain. So some encouragement to say keep going. If you're a writer, if you're a director, if you're a photographer, keep going, keep reaching out, keep trying to connect with people, go to events, go to talks, go to films, go to screenings, stick around, insert yourself in a way that makes you uncomfortable. because you're comfortable most of your life, so get a little uncomfortable. Say, hey, what'd you guys think? My name is Aaron, by the way. Man, that movie was intense, right? Whew. What was your favorite part? I'm Aaron, by the way. And then, boom, you become 2, and then you become 4, and that's exciting. So subscribe for more, and love you guys, love you all. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.